In a quiet, hidden corner of the universe, there is a magical place full of mysteries and wonders. This enchanted place, known as the Fairy Forest, is where magic itself calls home. Here, every tree and every bush has its own story to tell. The animals speak with gentle human voices, and the air is always filled with a soft magic that makes every single moment feel special and unique. The Fairy Forest is like stepping into the pages of a storybook. Among the whispering leaves and sparkling sunlit streams, every stone, every flower holds a touch of magic. In this forest, the usual rules of the world simply don't apply, and here anything is possible. With each new day come new puzzles and delightful discoveries. Every breath you take is filled with wonder, and even the tiniest creatures can become the heroes of their very own stories. This is a place where dreams come true and where every step might lead to something truly extraordinary and unforgettable. Thus, the Fairy Forest is like a magical doorway to a world where every moment is a chance to start a new adventure full of joy and wonder. Every creature in this enchanted forest has been gifted with special abilities which they use to keep the balance and harmony of their beautiful home. Some of them have incredible powers, like talking to the wind and the rain, or even guiding the flow of time and space. But every creature, big or small, no matter the strength of their magic, can turn something ordinary into something truly magical with just the flick of a paw or a wing. Take the brown bear, for example. He has the ability to change the color of his fur based on how he's feeling. When he's happy, his fur shines a bright and sunny yellow. But when he's feeling a little sad, it gently fades into shades of blue. Then there's Thorn, the hedgehog. He can roll himself into a perfect little ball and bounce away from trouble like a rubber ball. His quills aren't just for protection, he plays them like a guitar, creating the sweetest music. And Bella, the squirrel, she can leap higher than anyone and race through the trees quicker than the wind. Her sharp eyes let her see far, so she always knows where the tastiest nuts are hidden. These wonderful talents help the forest creatures create amazing things that can't be found anywhere else. In the Fairy Forest, magic is everywhere, and the creatures who live here are in harmony with their magical gifts, making every day a little more special than the last. Among the rustling leaves and gentle birdsong lives another special character, a rabbit, named Trelefko. He too is a wondrous creature embodying kindness and gentleness. Trelefko's snowy white fur is as soft and fluffy as a cloud in the sky, and every hair on his body shimmers with purity and tenderness like a feather drifting on the breeze. His stunning turquoise eyes are full of warmth and tenderness, like two lakes reflecting the endless sky. In those eyes, one can see a world full of hope and dreams, but also a gentle tremor and a quiet fear of the unknown and the challenges that lie ahead. In the Fairy Forest, Trelefko is known for his generosity. He is the one who never refuses to help and always shares his warmth and care with everyone. He'll give his last carrot to a hungry neighbor, gently cover a sleeping hedgehog with fallen leaves to keep him warm, and even listen patiently to the endless stories of the old turtle when everyone else has long gone. His kindness knows no bounds, and he is always ready to lend a helping paw to those in need, but not everyone understands and appreciates his sincerity. Sometimes, as Trelefko passes by, other forest dwellers laugh at his naivety and unconditional kindness, mistaking it for weakness. They whisper behind his back, calling him a fool. To them, Trelefko is just a small, timid, and awkward rabbit who can't say a word in his defense. This saddens Trelefko, as he has never wished harm to anyone, and his heart is filled only with the desire to do good. Yet, for remains true to who he is. He continues his good deeds despite the mockery, for he knows that true strength is not in returning evil for evil, but in staying kind, even when it's the hardest thing to do. And so, day by day, Trelefko makes the fairy forest a little brighter and a little kinder, showing by his example that kindness is not a weakness, but true strength, even if others don't always see it. The animals do not know the secret hidden from them deep in the shadowy thickets of the fairy forest. The truth is that Trelefko, the little white rabbit, not only has a heart as vast as the forest, but also possesses a magical gift, which he keeps hidden from everyone. Beneath his soft, fluffy coat of fur are wings, delicate and transparent, like the veil of morning mist. These wings grant Trelefko the ability to soar over the forest, to glide gracefully between the tree branches, and even rise to the clouds. But Trelefko chooses to keep his gift a secret. He knows that many might not believe in his special ability, and some might even laugh at him. In the past, when Trelefko tried to share his secret, he was met with disbelief and gentle ridicule. So now he keeps his talent hidden, doesn't seek to change the opinions of others, and doesn't wish to prove his uniqueness. He feels more comfortable living the life of an ordinary kind rabbit, the way everyone knows him. He accepts his quiet place in the forest's story, not wanting to draw extra attention or take on the burden that might come with the recognition of his amazing gift. Such is Trelefko, a creature with a kind heart and invisible wings that he only spreads in solitude when no one is watching. In those moments, he soars into the sky, feeling the pure freedom and joy of flight. Then he gently returns to the earth to continue living among the animals as the ordinary yet extraordinarily kind rabbit of the fairy forest. But one must also know that in the fairy forest, where every rustle of leaves carries a touch of magic, among its many secrets and mysteries, there lives a creature whose secrets hold something darker than mere innocent pranks. Unlike the kind-hearted Trelefko, this creature keeps its secrets not out of goodwill. The fox named Red Flame, with her fiery fur glimmering like the last rays of sunset, and her eyes shining with a golden light, full of cunning and intrigue, is one of the most mysterious inhabitants of this enchanted forest. Her steps are light and silent, like a shadow gliding across the ground, and she skillfully remains unnoticed among the whispering trees and the flowers dancing in the wind. Red Flame is known for her devious pranks. She loves playing tricks on the other animals, and her mischief often has a cruel twist. She skillfully weaves her intrigues, creating elaborate traps and challenges for her unsuspecting neighbors, enjoying their confusion and surprise. But Red Flame's biggest secret is her ability to shapeshift. She can take on any form, become anyone or anything, which allows her to stay hidden in the shadows, watching and manipulating events without ever revealing herself. This ability makes her a master of disguise and deception, surprising and even frightening the other animals when they least expect it. Despite her magical gifts, Red Flame rarely uses them for good. She prefers to play her games, where she always emerges the winner. Red Flame the fox embodies cunning and trickery in the fairy forest. Her presence a reminder that even in the most magical places, danger and challenges may lurk. Once, Red Flame transformed into a stone, lying on the path and the brown bear, not noticing the trick, stumbled and fell, quite surprised by the unexpected obstacle. Another time, she changed the colors of the plants, leading everyone to believe that Wise Owl, known for her ability to see through time and space, had lost her magical powers. The hedgehog Thorn, always in a rush and careless, once encountered the illusion of a deep pit created by Red Flame. Trying to jump over it, he fell not into a pit, but into a real puddle, to his great embarrassment. The berries on the bushes, which Red Flame swapped for poisonous ones, caused sickness in those who unsuspectingly ate them. Red Flame's ability to shapeshift also helped her frighten the young animals by taking the form of a fearsome monster. She even left a false trail in the forest, leading poor Trelefko not home but to a stranger's den. The thick fog she conjured made the animals lose their way, unable to go about their usual tasks for an entire day. And the spell she cast on the stream made the water flow upward, confusing everyone who tried to drink. Disguised as a friendly bird, Red Flame stole Bella's precious stash of nuts, and the eerie nighttime sounds she made scared the animals, keeping them awake all night. The sticky sap she left on the tree branches, where Bella usually leaped, hindered her movement, and the illusion of nuts on the trees made Bella waste a lot of time in vain. These are just a few of the mischievous prank Flame has pulled. They bring her malicious laughter and excitement to the fairy forest, reminding everyone that even in a world of wonders, one must stay alert, for you never know what mischief awaits around the corner. As always, Red Flame the fox was on the lookout for a new way to entertain herself. One day, while wandering through the most mysterious corners of the fairy forest, where the animals hadn't ventured for a long time, Red Flame stumbled upon an ancient altar, forgotten by time and covered in moss. Strange symbols were engraved on the altar, and Red Flame, with her sharp mind and knowledge of secret languages, was able to decipher them. The symbols spoke of the mist spirits, ancient rulers of the forest, who had been in a deep sleep but could be awakened if a certain ritual was performed. The idea of awakening the mist spirits instantly appealed to Red Flame. She had once already cast a fog over the fairy forest and imagined how it would once again be enveloped in a thick gray mist, with the forest dwellers wandering in panic and confusion, not knowing where they were. This was exactly the kind of fun Red Flame had been looking for. She gathered the necessary ingredients: dew from the tallest leaves, ashes from an extinguished fire, and she even managed to snatch a feather from Wise Owl's nest, while the owl flew out to survey the forest at midnight. Mixing the ingredients in an old cauldron she found near the altar, Red Flame recited the spell at dawn, and the mist began to rise, slowly enveloping everything around. The awakening of the mist spirits was a grand yet terrifying sight. From the depths of the forest, where light did not penetrate, shadows began to emerge. They moved gracefully among the trees, their presence felt through a chilling cold and eerie silence. The mist they created was not just fog, it was alive, moving and shifting, draining the colors from the forest, making the world gray and lifeless. It turned out that the mist spirits fed on the vibrant colors of the fairy forest. After such a long sleep, they were so hungry that they intended to consume the entire fairy forest. When the mist spirits were freed, Red Flame realized the ancient evil she had unleashed. Her original goal had been merely to entertain herself, but the consequences of her prank were far more serious than she had imagined. Even with her sharp mind and secret knowledge, she could not control the spirits or the mist they had created. And so Red Flame did what she was known for. She fled, hiding away, waiting for others to resolve the problem she had caused. Meanwhile, the fairy forest sank deeper into darkness. The mist spirits, like gray shadows, glided between the trees, absorbing the life and colors of every flower, bush, and tree they touched. The animals, witnessing what was happening, were gripped by fear. Each of them tried to use their magic and powers to stop the mist spirits, but all their attempts were futile, and the animals were powerless in the face of this ancient force. They began to panic, realizing that the fairy forest might be lost forever. In the hour when despair enveloped the hearts of the forest's inhabitants, Wise Owl, as always, called everyone to gather. On a green meadow, at the foot of an ancient oak tree, where her nest was perched, the animals and birds gathered, each with worry and hope in their eyes. Perched on a mighty branch of the ancient oak, Wise Owl began her speech, her voice echoing through the forest, filled not only with concern, but also with indomitable wisdom. Even Red Flame, cunning and unpredictable, came to listen, disguised as an unremarkable tree stump on the edge of the meadow. Wise Owl's words spread around, penetrating the very heart of the forest. We stand on the brink of darkness that threatens to consume our home. Alone, we are powerless to resist the spirits and dispel the mist. But in unity lies our strength, and if we unite and venture into the depths of the mist together, we can defeat the spirits. Wise Owl surveyed the gathered animals, searching for courage and resolve in their faces. Who among you is ready to face this threat? Who has the spirit and bravery to defend our forest? Among the forest dwellers was Trelefko, the small white rabbit whose unassuming appearance concealed something great. He listened to Wise Owl's words, and within his soul, a spark of courage was ignited. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through his soul, dispelling his doubts and fears. Trelefko felt his hidden wings begin to pulse, as if they longed for freedom and flight. After Wise Owl finished her speech, a heavy silence fell. Not a single creature dared to move, and the air hung with a sense of hopelessness. It seemed that the darkness had already won, and the fairy forest was doomed. But in that moment, Trelefko, gathering all his strength, closed his eyes, and a transformation took place deep within his soul. When he opened them, his usually timid eyes now burned with unwavering determination. He rose and took a step forward. Despite the skeptical smiles of some animals, Trelefko no longer paid them any attention. His voice, though quiet, carried an unshakable confidence. I will take on this task. I will save our forest. The animals were alarmed, realizing that if only this awkward rabbit was willing to confront the spirits, their home was truly doomed. But Trelefko, feeling his wings fill with warmth and light, looked at all the gathered animals and at the surrounding forest. Then he spread his wings, which shone with an extraordinary light, as if millions of microscopic stars had ignited in his fluffy fur. Bravely, soaring into the air, he flew straight into the heart of the mist to save the forest from the impending threat. Once deep in the spreading mist, Trelefko faced the spirits with courage and engaged them in battle. With each mighty flap of his wings, he dispelled the mist like an autumn wind, playing with leaves, swirling them away into the unknown. His light, pure and bright, pierced through the darkness, slicing it apart like a warrior's sword, effortlessly cleaving through armor. The mist spirits, ephemeral beings of darkness, could not withstand the brilliance of his light. They began to melt like morning frost, disappearing under the rays of the rising sun, leaving only dewdrops on the grass behind. The forest animals, witnessing this miracle, looked at Trelefko in bewilderment and awe. How could such a small rabbit, whom they had barely noticed before, now fight the shadows that none of the forest animals could defeat? They watched in silent amazement as Trelefko battled the ancient evil, his small body full of hope and courage. With each of his movements, with each flap of his wings, the forest came back to life. Every tree, every flower, every leaf seemed to awaken, as if the entire forest was inhaling the air of freedom and rebirth. But the spirits did not wish to surrender, and gathering into one large mass of darkness advanced on their opponent. Yet Trelefko, unafraid, soared higher and higher, becoming a beacon in the misty sky. He faced the spirits head-on, his light colliding with their darkness in a battle for the soul of the forest. Though the fight was grueling, and the spirits tried to engulf him in their cold embrace, Trelefko did not give in. He was like a warrior who knows he cannot lose, for behind him lies his home and friends. But the mist spirits continued to advance, surrounding Trelefko. They had been asleep for too long and did not want to return to slumber. And just when it seemed that the darkness was about to triumph, Trelefko summoned all the power of his light and released it in one powerful burst. The light exploded in a wave, washing over every corner of the forest, and the mist spirits dissipated, along with the mist as if blown away by a strong wind. The forest came alive, and every creature, every animal and bird, every flower and tree once again glowed with new life, filled with gratitude to the little rabbit who had become their hero. Exhausted after the heroic battle, but full of pride, Trelefko gently descended to the ground, his wings still sparkling with the last glimmers of light folded and nestled into his fluffy fur. He once again became the small white rabbit everyone knew, but now in their eyes he was an undeniable hero. Trelefko had shown everyone that even the most unnoticed, fragile, and modest creature could possess incomparable strength and courage capable of overcoming the darkest challenges. Trelefko lay on the soft forest floor, bathed in the rays of the setting sun. His brave fight had lasted nearly the entire day, and at last, it was over. His breathing became deep and measured. The animals of the forest gathered around him, their gazes radiating gratitude and admiration. They approached him cautiously, afraid to disturb his well-deserved rest. Wise Owl gently touched his forehead with her wing, passing on some of her strength to him. The forest animals, having realized the greatness of his spirit, carefully lifted Trelefko and carried him to the coziest corner of the forest, where flowers bloom even in the quiet of the night and the stars shine brighter, as if guarding his sleep. There, they made him a bed of the softest mosses and petals so he could regain his strength. When morning came, Trelefko woke to find himself surrounded by all the forest's inhabitants, eagerly awaiting the moment to once again express their gratitude. They now understood that true strength lies not in appearances, but in the heart, and that every creature, no matter its size or type, can show heroism and courage worthy of the greatest legends. From that day on, his name became a symbol of hope and bravery, and his story would inspire and amaze for generations to come, becoming an immortal fairy tale about the power of spirit and the light within the heart. Trelefko had shown everyone that even the most innocent soul could save the world. Thus, this story came to an end, but life in the fairy forest continues, full of new adventures and tales waiting to be told. And every new day brings with it a new story written by the magic of the forest and the kindness of its hearts. Trelefko and his friends know that as long as love and friendship live in their hearts, No mist spirits can dim the beauty of their enchanted home.